Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the last session of today's series. I'm delighted to introduce Francis Offman, who is actually an artist that uses coffee in his art significantly. Hi, Francis. Thank you. Hi. Hello. Thank you so much for being here with us today. So, Francis, I've said a few words about you. Why don't you start by just briefly taking us through your story?
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation, and thank everybody for taking time to listen. My name is Francis Offman. I was born in Rwanda. For some reason, I came to live here in Italy, and I'm speaking from Bologna, Italy, where I'm based. And I'm an artist. I work with here in Bologna with a gallery called P420. And in London, I work with a gallery called Herald Street. For now, these two galleries are really I'm really working with them very well. The reason why let me say that I choose to work with these two galleries because my paintings, as you said, it is based on research and experimentation. So with these two galleries, they give me space and they allow me to go on with my research without having this kind of pressure of a market, of art market. Yeah, this is my story. And here in Bologna, I have studied in academy with another colleague. He's an artist, and he was my teacher. His name is Luca Bertolo. And he's the one who helped me to go on with this use of non-conventional techniques, but I was able to develop them because of the traditional techniques. So it really helped me. For example, I've been working with coffee for a really long time, from 2014. But before I used even to deal with art. But having someone to speak with who is already a teacher, who's already an artist, it really helps you for somehow to go on. Sometimes you just need to hear some things that you already know, but it's fine when, for example, it's a teacher, and you need to be sure, because what I'm trying to do with my painting, even with other project, is that I'm trying to find a common bridge between Europe and Africa, where I come from. And it's not always easy because for many reasons that everyone knows about when it comes to art. But in this case, sometimes in my case, as I said, I really need to comfort myself with people who are already in the field. Because sometimes it's something I always deal with black holes somehow. What I do is always something new, and I always need every time someone whom I can speak to, and who can give me advice, and who I am able to understand exactly how I'm moving, if I'm going too much, or if I'm creating crazy stuff. How you can keep most of the time I really it's for me, it's very fundamental to confront myself with people who are already in the field, and at the same time using knowledge which is there in Italy. Italy has got a really huge history. It really allows me to move on very easily, because I've seen that here in Italy and in Europe, there are two things for me which are really free. And one is knowledge, history, and another one is products like material. So combining these two things, I'm able to create a lot of projects, paintings, in a really easy way. The only thing which I've seen for now, and even with my colleagues, is that the research really takes me a lot of time, because I have every time to study everything. But thanks to God, here in Italy, as I said, it has got a very huge, a great history of art. So not always have to reinvent the wheel, this kind of way. So I'm able to continue from where other people have left, and obviously using my memories and the sensibility from Africa. And this really allows me to to create these paintings in a really easy way.
So you spoke about like the common bridge between Europe and Africa. How have these two places, sort of Bologna and Rwanda, like impacted you and your work? And is there a common bridge, and what is it composed of? What is it made of, or isn't there? And what are the contrasts, and how would you compare them?
To me, like I've been like searching for a really long time what is in common between Bologna, in this case, Italy, and Africa. One of the things that I've discovered is not like a discovery, but I saw which was common was coffee. Because Rwanda, it produced coffee. It is well known for producing coffee. And Italy, it is very well known for having invented the mix, which usually it is very famous known for. So coffee was one of the first breeds that I found. Then by searching, I found even other many common things. But with coffee, I was really interested because studying coffee to really allowed me to know a lot of stuff. Like in this case, I knew that Rwanda used to produce coffee. Even when I was young, I knew about this. But at the same time, coffee wasn't really, they didn't really used to drink it. They just produce it and they just sell it outside. But now things have changed. Now there are shops and there are coffee shops everywhere, and people are starting to learn coffee, how to prepare it, and so on. So it was funny that here in Italy, it was really very cheap. And at the same time, Italy doesn't grow coffee. And they really had a huge tradition of coffee techniques, different combination of coffee from everywhere. And it was funny that in my country, they just grow it and they just sell it. And the other side, like they've got it, like they start about it, and it has become really a huge business. So to me, it was really, it was kind of a common thing. So I started even to study the properties of it, how I could use it with my paintings. And studying it, I discovered, like, for example, the coffee that they sell in the supermarket is a mix from different areas of the planet. So to me, it was like kind of dialogue with all these people who were working on it, from the farmer until to the person who tastes the coffee, and then they sell it in the supermarket. At the same time, it was a way to be connected to Rwanda. So working with coffee, I really understood many things. And another one which I really understood, it was like I started to work with season. For example, when I start to prepare coffee, I have to dry the painting with the coffee. When I do the first layer, I do it in summer. So in summer, I can work with the coffee because it dries very quick. And like in one day, I'm able to prepare a lot of paintings. And this really it really gave me a kind of balance. And in winter, I start to paint, and in spring, sometimes I finish some paintings that I started before. At the same time, it takes me really long time to finish these paintings because every time that I create a painting, something new, I have to understand in time how it react. So it takes me like something like 3 years to have a finished painting. Working like this, it really helped me to have a kind of balance. So I'm able to create paintings without any kind of hurry. At the same time, using coffee, which I usually collect every day. It is the ground coffee that I collect every day. It allows me to think what I'm doing. Like, it's a way like of making sure that my ideas, they've got time to develop and to go on. So it is like coffee to really give me a kind of balance when it comes to painting, which is like the main research that is having, how can I say, success with the market, with art market. So this balance, like I really tried it even to share this knowledge with these techniques with my colleagues, but the problem is that working with coffee is really like, it really takes you a lot of time, and not everyone has got this time to work with. So like now in this period, I'm trying to find new solution, a new way, like I'm able to create the whole painting with just, like, for example, I'm trying not to hurry the process, but to find the best solution in working with coffee, and to share this knowledge with my colleagues. Yeah. for now, this is like the main thing that I've been working on.
So I know that you only use like mainly found and recycled materials in your works. How do you collect the coffee? Which kind of coffee do you collect? And also, as sort of a follow-up question to that, with coffee being an internationally produced product, has your research led you to any other cultural bridges with different countries around the world?
Yeah, the coffee that I collect every day is the coffee that I drink. So there's it is very slow. Like it takes me really a long time to collect enough coffee to work on paintings. Like it takes me like 6 months. And usually these 6 months, I've got time to study, to research. And usually the coffee that I collect is the one that they sell in the supermarket here in Italy. And yeah, the different types, it depends that which coffee I buy, but usually it is the common coffee that they sell in Italy. And because on the package of the coffee that they sell, they don't specific like where it comes from. It's just a mix. Like we have got many brands, and many brands, they have got their own mix, which is, I think, kind of secret, brand secret, this kind of stuff. So it is really difficult to understand. They just said, for example, Arabic coffee. That's all. That's only the information which is written on the package. So I usually buy that coffee and drinking it and collecting it. I'm able to have enough coffee. And usually even other materials that I use, they have got a story which is connected to me or because of the impression. For example, I use paper from my shoes. When we buy shoes, we have got this thin paper that is put inside the shoes. And this is connected to my first impression when I came here in Italy. When I was young, they told me that we were going, after like 15 days I was here in Italy, they told me that we were going to a park to, at that time, when I heard the word park, I thought that it was like we are going to a Luna Park where we can play and all these kind of toys or games or whatever. So it took 15 minutes and we were walking, and then we arrived and they saw that it was just a park with some, how can I say, playground for kids and some green grass, and like we were on planet Earth. I understood that it took 15 minutes for us to be on planet Earth, that we are walking on a surface. So this really surprised me that it was really difficult to have your shoes dirty, because in Africa, like it was very easy to have shoes dirty. At the same time, in Italy, there's this where they say that you have to have your feet based on the ground, And usually I ask myself exactly which ground, because of course every time something which divides us from planet Earth. And I try to understand exactly how this affects us, how the fact that we're not connected with our feet on the ground, or how this how can I say it affects the way that we see the planet, the way that we see ourselves. And as if you see even nowadays, the way that the politics is going on, the choice that people do, it seems that their choice, they're not connected, like it seems that, like for example, Italy is the kind of a country which doesn't belong to planet Earth, or other many countries. The decision are always done only thinking about, like their garden. They don't see like, or they don't want to see like how everything is connected. But thanks to God, now things somehow are changing, or however, they're starting to think, they're starting to make question, which is a good thing. So like I use this true paper, because of this thing which happened. And another thing that I usually use sheets, because many years ago I had a teacher. He was like kind of my mentor. When he passed away, the daughter of this mentor, they asked me like if I wanted to take something from his studio and so on. So when I went to his studio, I saw that I took some books, but I saw that even there were bed sheets that they were there, and they were gift from when they were married. So those sheets that they've never been used for 50 years, and they have been only like, they were very well kept, that no one has never used them. And I was really surprised that even in Africa, when someone gets married, there are these gifts that they give to people, like the women takes. I think nowadays they don't do this kind of stuff, but I was really surprised because even in my country, like when someone gets married, they've got, there are different material that they give to, that they give to the people who are getting married. But to me, it was really interesting. And it was interesting that the lady, she really kept this these fabrics, these bed sheets, really nice, and they were really like well kept. And I was really surprised, and so I decided to use them as canvas for painting. And from now on, I discovered that here in Italy that there are many of these gifts that many people, when they pass away, many families, they have got these gifts that when they receive them, they never use them. So sometimes it happens that I go around in the markets searching for them, and it's very easier to see them because they have got they're handmade, so like it's very easy to recognize them. And I usually use them in my paintings. Even other kind of fabrics that I use, they've got every time kind of history, like which connects to me or which creates this kind of bridge. So using this kind of material, it really helps me to understand. Like, for example, I never buy any kind of canvas. So I have to go to meet other people. I have to study this material that I'm using. It takes me a lot of time I still pass like really long time with this material. And sometimes even my friends, colleagues, when they have got like some fabrics, which even they are small, they give them to me, and I try to study exactly how they are, how can I use them. And usually I don't even change their shape. So if they give me with a strange shape, I'll try to adapt to that shape. So it is really challenging because they can give me, for example, a huge canvas, which a friend, like, for example, he didn't finish the painting, he doesn't like it. So I try to paint with that huge canvas. And from the other side, I can receive really small piece of fabrics of canvas. So I have every time to change dimensions. So this really challenges me. And I really like every time that I have to find many solution about this. Yeah.
I absolutely love this like hyper attention to the material and to its purpose, and this sort of the way you've connected with them. I study sociology, and we have a whole module on the sociology of material and how materials shape our existence and how we sort of form our cultures around them. And even coffee as a material has, I mean, as you said, with this really funny paradox that sort of one in Africa they produce, and then in Europe they can sort of don't produce it, but they consume it so pervasively. Has created its own culture. It's really, really interesting. And it's amazing how, with this in mind, all your pieces, which we'll see really soon, have this fil conducteur anyway. They do look like sort of they're part of an ensemble. And thinking about like coffee specifically, I mean, I don't know, in my mind, when I think about coffee, I also think a lot about sort of inequality. And, it is something like, for example, fair trade, something that you pay attention to in relationship to coffee or not? Something like sort of the fair trade.
Yeah. I really like when I started to use coffee, I really study about the whole history of coffee, which I saw that it has got really a long history and an epic journey. And by studying it, even I ended up in economics and other stuff, and how it is going in the market. So to me, using coffee, to me, it is very important to study the material that I use. In this case, coffee, I know everything which is behind it. And this is a kind of a layer which I like to leave people who have got this kind of knowledge in my paintings to understand. But at the same time, coffee is something which connects all these people and me. And so I like to see it in many layers. So coffee has got it has got this kind of problematic, for me, by using coffee is a way of kind of protesting and trying to make sure that people, they understand exactly the journey, but at the same time, it's not kind of very invasive, because my paintings are abstract. So there is not any kind of meaning. The meaning you find it, and at the same time, I'm not trying to teach anything. That you just have to see what you want to see, and it depends on your background. For example, if you're curious, you may say, he used coffee, so you may go on internet to Google and search for coffee, and there you can start to educate yourself somehow. This is what I hope that can the mechanism that which starts to happen. But in my case, the other side, I don't want to. It's not like I don't want to say, but there are many ways of saying things. And art is really a sophisticated language. It is one of the eldest technology that we have got. So there are many ways that I can say many things at the same time, leaving everyone to breathe, But at the same time, I go straight to the point. And with this, I'm able to do it with the abstract and with using painting for now.
So how should the audience interact with your works? I mean, I know you said it's sort of what you take from it. Is it maybe, that they should then in turn pay this hyper attention to the materials around them and how they impact them and structure them? Or how do you have any thoughts on how they should?
To me, I try to make sure that the material I use, they become like part of the painting. So is how can I say, the material, they speak to them, they're able to speak to the person, Like, for example, when the way I use coffee, sometimes people think that it is soil, it is not coffee. Some people, they're very attracted because they've got this kind of energy. Because to me, it's not necessary to create a kind of a legend where I explain the use of the material. To me, when you see the paintings, it's just kind of a democratic thing. Everything has got the same level. It has got the same meaning. So to me, it is to see the whole picture at the same time to see the details. So sometimes I like to say that, thinking local and acting global, and at the same time not doing the opposite stuff, So thinking global and acting local. So in my paintings, there this kind of tension. So you go near and then you go back. And usually it is really difficult to say that this is paper and this is fabric, because they are all together mixed, and they are like to manipulate them thanks to the knowledge, the technology. So at the end is one thing, and same time is different. Like when you go near, you're able to see small details, and when you see it large, you see the whole picture. But it is not enough with the first look to understand the paintings. This is what I'm interested. Usually, in our age, it is really easier for people just to judge you by giving you the first look, and it's a very huge problem. Even it is a bad habit from the old generation. So even my paintings is not even the angles, from if you change the angle, you see something different from the other angle. You see it forces the person to move around the painting somehow. You don't have kind of a front perspective. Every time you have to change to understand something. This is what I'm interested in. And the material, usually it depends on your background. So you're able to understand it's coffee or paper, but if you have got this knowledge, if you don't, it's fine.
Yeah. And sort of going back to something you said at the beginning about the role of memory in your art, could you expand a little bit on that? I mean, we're gathered here today to celebrate sort of Archivorum, which is a foundation that highlights the importance of the archive and preservation in the artistic world. What is the role of memory in your artworks?
Yeah, as I said before, for me, as I come from Rwanda, and when I say Rwanda, it came out that people they connected to what really happened, the genocide. So after the genocide, everything disappeared. So there was no history. And when I came here in Italy, which Italy is kind of a huge open museum, everything has got history, from the stones in my street here, where I live in Bologna, in Via del Pratel. So to me, I understood that history somehow, memory helps you to understand where you have come from, and sometimes it really helps you even to develop something for the future. So for example, when I see back in Rwanda, what happened with the genocide, I'm not able like to find many information, and even my parents don't want to talk anything. So I was like, I didn't have any kind of history, like because for them it is very painful to talk about what happened, even to talk about the habits that that were there, the tradition, because every time when they go back, I think with memory, there's this pain. So I stopped even asking them, and they started to search exactly my history. By doing so, I understand even the importance of memory. You know, it gives you a kind of stability, or it gives you a kind of a comfort zone where you can start from going on, to move on. So, but at the same time, memory can become even a very heavy thing. You know. Like, for example, when I see my colleagues in art, they have every time to confront with the huge masters. So I think that, but I think it's not really a huge problem, because memory, it gives you, like, how can I say, like the raw material to work on to create something new. And sometimes you have to be aware, like, you know, of how the reality is expanding, you know. Yeah, I think memory, it really like, helps you a lot in facing a lot of problems somehow. You know, like usually I'm speaking about in art. Like, it really like helps you. It really helps you a lot. Like, for example, to move on. Like, for example, in techniques which I use, I saw that without knowing how the old masters used to create their own pigments, how they used to create their color. Like, I found like energy and color from from this memory, which is written in books. You know, like that they used to go in the mountain and take things and do by their own. So understanding that it was possible, I understood. It gave me like kind of a comfort zone that what I was doing somehow, it is normal. It is not used to it. They don't anymore used to do like that. But what I was doing, it was somehow like right, you know, like it was okay that what I was doing, you know, because every time when you don't have, like, for example, in my case about my history in Rwanda, is like it's like drawing in the dark, you know. For me, like when it comes to Rwanda, it's like drawing in the dark. You don't have light, so it's really difficult to see what you're doing when you're in dark. So memory has got this kind of function of allowing you to understand exactly what is going on, even in your present, but mostly what will happen in the future.